Friends, thank you for listening to Bizarrely Carly. My name is Carly. I hope everybody had an awesome week. My week has been a whirlwind, full of unexpected scenarios, both not so good and amazing. And it got me thinking about life. How we live our lives expecting things to go a certain way sometimes, and very rarely do things go according to plan. Sometimes really bad things happen and come out of nowhere to knock us off our feet. And sometimes really good things can come out of nowhere and do the same. We can try to control every detail of our lives, but ultimately, the universe seems to have its own plan, and we don't get a say. Everything happens for a reason is something I have heard many times over the course of this past week, both for good scenarios and bad. And when I hear that, I just want nothing more than to know the reason. I want to know why it's happening so that I can make sense of it. The unknown can be so terrifying, and to have all the answers would just make everything better. But that's not the way life works. We don't get to know the answers or the whys until we are meant to. And most of the time, the reason is something we may not even realize we have discovered. It may not be obvious until you take the time to reflect on what got you to where you are, and why you're the person you are. Every good and bad thing that has happened to you has shaped who you are. And even if something bad happened to you, and brought out something bad within you, it's up to you to choose to turn it into a positive. It's up to you to learn and understand the why, and ask yourself in what way you can grow from the experience. When something bad happens, we often want to beat ourselves up, look for someone to blame, or just cry and pout or rant. We find it hard to possibly see any good in it. But it's in those moments where we usually grow the most. It's in those moments where our weaknesses are tested most, and we discover our greatest strengths. It's in those moments where we discover what is important to us and what we really want in life. How do we prepare ourselves for those things we don't expect? As Oscar Wilde once said, we have to expect the unexpected. Have expectations about yourself to keep yourself grounded. Set goals and plans. Don't waste your time focusing on things that you can't control. Some things just happen. Look at it for what it is and let the negative go. Look at yourself and ask yourself what lesson you can take from it. What positive way can you spin this scenario? Take time to sit and think about past negative experiences you've been through. Make a list of each one and reflect on what positive things that one negative thing ultimately led to. I think you may be surprised with how many of those bad experiences led to something wonderful. I look back at my life, and when I see how things have turned out, I am often amazed, because I remember how hopeless I felt at certain times, not realizing that it would lead to something amazing, or change me for the better. Disappointment is a terrible feeling, but like any emotion, it only has as much power as you allow it. If we are in the habit of setting high expectations without preparing for alternative outcomes, we set ourselves up for disappointment time and time again. If we are in the habit of feeling sorry for ourselves when these things happen, we never grow from them, and it'll become a cycle of negative outcomes. However, our minds are powerful, so if we decide to set expectations considering the possibility for alternative outcomes, then not only are we not going to be as disappointed, we will also be prepared to overcome whatever happens, and when we overcome it, we will be more confident in ourselves. If we search for the positive aspects of the scenario, then we will attract outcomes more suited to what we want. We learn and grow in the process, creating a routine, a response to the negative scenarios. It is so important to our mental wellness that we don't give those negative feelings the power they try so hard to possess. Sometimes it can be hard to overpower those feelings, and it's during those times that is when we need to allow ourselves to lean on others or look for help from proper resources. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to have our moments, to feel those negative feelings. We have to allow ourselves to feel those negative feelings. The secret is to not let it consume you. If you feel it starting to consume you, do what you have to do. Ask for help if you need to. You deserve to live a life of joy. Remember, you're worth it. Until next time.